Hello, hello. Welcome to another week of Galactic Channeling. Love that alien advice. We're all aliens, so just take that with a grain of whatever. Okay. Last week I was totally fucking out. I was in download energy. Was not fit for public consumption because I couldn't fucking articulate anything that I was processing because it made sense in my bones, but there was no way I could find words. So I just sat on the fucking couch integrating. It was awesome. And now I don't really actually feel super fit for public consumption because I am like having a little trouble remembering it's a game and it's supposed to be fun. Yeah. So anyway, I'm calling this little video 42 downloads with the energy update. 42. Shout out to my Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fans. Even if you're not a fan, hopefully you know 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Love that story so much. Okay. So I have notes. Okay. Some of this I was feeling really hardcore when I was writing it down, and now I'm like, okay. Anyway, I'll just explain. I was driving a friend home. Well, I was driving a friend to pick up her car from the mechanic. So I was driving back by myself through these nice, windy mountain roads. It was lovely, just jamming music, kind of meditating, because driving is meditating for me. Lots of shit counts for meditating, guys. So don't think you have to sit there like om or whatever. Driving counts. So anyway, I know we live in a hologram. All the, I can say it all I want, and I know it, but like seeing it or like knowing it, a little different. So I was driving along these windy roads, beautiful mountains, and I just was looking at the mountains and the trees like, wow, this is a really cool game design. Like I was plopped into the middle of a video game, but like kind of joking with myself, kind of whatever. And then a hawk flew by, just like all majestic and like beautiful. And I was like, oh, nice touch, game makers. Thanks for that very obvious. That was beautiful. Thank you for making it so obvious. I don't know. It made sense in my head. Anyway, then I just started to be like, oh, we are in a game. And anyway, like I said, this made sense. Anyway, and I could see it's kind of like you when you feel high, but you're not actually high, just sort of like that. And I got home just like, wow, okay. Trying to make sense of the game. So I could see how everything was connected and where we all came from and how the illusion of being separate is so powerful. And a big, I'd say one of the major 3 parts of this game, like the illusion that we are separate from those outside of us and things outside of us, like, birds or whatever the fuck, And I wasn't like in a big blue ball of light consciousness, like those near-death experiences people have. Like it wasn't like that, but I could like see as a concept in my head how we were all just like one big consciousness, and we kind of I don't, again, how to describe this shit. We're all individual consciousnesses inside like a whole consciousness. We all make up this mirror ball, basically. I'm not the first person to say mirror ball, but whatever. Anyway, so we're all there together at the beginning of time. Does not exist, but whatever. We'll just say the beginning of fucking time. And we all know that we're individual, but we make up a whole. And we're like, hey, what would it feel like if we forgot we were whole and thought we were separate? What would happen? I mean, what the fuck else are you going to do when you're like an immortal consciousness who knows everything, but yet kind of also doesn't at the same time? What the fuck are you going to do? You're going to go out and be like, hey, what is this like? Who fucking knows who made this decision? But anyway, as a collective, we decided this was a good idea. Can't say that I would have disagreed at the time. Like, I get it. It's fun to learn new shit. Anyway, there are games within fucking games. Like, there's just, anyway. So that was one of the major points of this original separation. The illusion that we are separate. So separation, limitation, and fear of death. Those are the three like big things here anyway. I don't know how it all played out millions or whatever the fuck, thousands of hundreds, billions years ago. But here on Earth, this is what we're playing out. And it started a long time ago in other star systems. And as the consciousnesses found other worlds to create and like other beings to create, basically we are the AI and we are the creators of the AI. We're literally all of the fucking things. So that's why nothing is more powerful than you in your reality, because you have created all the things. Again, we're kind of co-creating at the same time because we're all the same ball of consciousness. So we all have like, we've agreed on guidelines for this, and it's not like, one person gets to say one thing. We all agree to it, but man, we agreed to a fucked up game here. Again, as I was lying on the couch trying to process what I was seeing in my head and feeling in my bones, it all made sense. I could see the beauty in like horrific things. Again, I'm not sure how to explain that, because all it's going to sound like is how do you explain that you could see beauty in a really shitty thing? I don't know, but I did. Anyway, so the illusion that we're separate had to feel as real as possible. If we even remembered that we were possibly part of the same thing, and this was all just kind of like not a joke, but like a pretend game, like we're all getting together playing like how to host a murder or whatever. Like, that's not don't know where I was going with that. Oh, so we had to make it feel fucking real. So we're like, we exist as energy without physical form, and we're like, let's go down into a denser frequency. So we're kind of vibrating at a very slow rate compared to like a higher, as far as I can tell, the big blue ball of consciousness is the 13th dimension. That could be wrong. I don't know, but that is my understanding. So we have been in the 3D, so pretty fucking far from 13th dimension. We're in the 3rd dimension, so that is why everything feels so fucking heavy, so visceral, things move slowly, etc. Because when you're at in the higher dimensions, which just means you're vibrating at a higher rate and don't necessarily fit into a physical form, everything happens all at once. Like, you want something, you get it. you process having it like literally all at the fucking same time. So we created this game, which is the third dimension, where time moves linearly, not all at once. And we wanted to know what that felt like. So we have taken a long time to process out this game, play it through. It is an unconscious age. One of the cards I pulled for this week is the Atlantean era. We've gotten this card before. We are playing out. This was the last game. The last game was Atlantis, Lemuria. I know, all these fun, fake-sounding things you can make fun of for not being real and all inside your head. I don't care, because I know it was real. So, anyway, the last era was the Atlantean one. And when we blew that up, I don't really know what happened, but it went to shit. And it was all on purpose. It was part of the game plan. Again, the Atlantean area was a game within a game within a game. So now we are still playing out the polarity that we that we're in. This current game is deep polarity. You are one thing, I am another. We are different, whatever. This is a thing that makes us forget that we are part of a whole. You are good, you are bad, you are male, you are female, you are whatever opposites. That's what we're playing out. And it did not start on Earth. It started in other star systems. So how fun is this? Okay. So we're still fucking playing this out. Usually when civilizations end, when a game ends or whatever the hell, at least this is again from my understanding, it kind of just gets wiped out. Like humans, I'm talking about this human Earth game. Humans get wiped out, or the beings on the planet get wiped out, and we just start again with, creating new things. Coming out of the Atlantean era, we decided to build a new civilization on top of the old civilization, which is what we're doing now. Which is why it fucking sucks, because we're still alive while all of this is happening. We're not wiped out. We're not some energy forms from, looking out from outside, looking at Earth rebuilding herself or whatever. We're literally in bodies that are upgrading. We are getting energy transmissions, light codes from the sun, and galactic family giving us all this shit to get out of the Atlantean era, or the whatever we're calling. I guess we're in the Atlantean. I guess we're in it or something. I'm really, again, not super sure on how this is working out, but we're playing out the Atlantean era fall and all the shit that happened. Whatever we were doing when Atlantis was a thing, that, again, part of the game was to fuck it up and crash Earth and crash civilization and go into an unconscious masculine age. There has been a death of the masculine in the past, I don't know, if you wanted, 2012 was the end of that era. But again, there was like a little, there's always a buffer. That was the age of Pisces, whatever, unconscious masculine. Now we are in the age of Aquarius, but it took a minute. 2012 was like the portal. You guys are welcome. So much fun. I don't know why I'm feeling self-conscious, but I don't really give a shit. So I don't know why I'm acting like I do. Anyway, so there's been a death of the masculine, which I think just means death of the unconscious masculine. The masculine is waking up now. The feminine got sent to the fucking underworld. And that was, again, the point of the game. We wanted to we wanted to operate only in the mental space, be disconnected from our emotional body, and just kind of sharpen the skills that are required to only operate in the mental space. It's kind of like focusing on one muscle group per day when you're lifting weights. Only this is 26,000 years or whatever the fuck. So we've operated in the mental space unconsciously. You know, again, the feminine was in the underworld. We put her there because that was what we wanted to do. We all agreed to this. It's not nothing was done against anybody's will. It's just really hard to remember that when shit feels like it does right now. So in 2012, the divine feminine is like, hi, coming back up now. All part of the plan. That was when she was supposed to come back. So since that time, the masculine has been, we have all been being hit with energy transmissions to wake up the divine feminine, bring her out. We have been in the fucking underworld. 2020 was huge for this. We're still kind of coming out of it. I don't know if we're still in the underworld. I don't know. But the point of it all is we're building a new civilization on top of the dying one. Instead of just wiped it out and start anew, we're living through the collapse. Hoo boy. So, it's cool. It's a fun time to be alive from a galactic standpoint because it's fun to see a new game get booted up into the console and we're like, cool, dude, we went back into the underworld to wake up the divine feminine. We're hanging out with her. It's going to be great. So the divine masculine is waking up, and so that is the death of the old, unawakened, toxic shit. We're now coming into balance. Healing the polarity. So we are trying to figure out, I pulled a bunch of fucking cards. I don't even know where we're going here. We're just going to pull them as we fucking feel like it. So anyway, healing the polarity, knowing that we are literally all the same. We're part of the same consciousness. As individuals, we're still part of the same consciousness. So anyway, part of the advice for this week is kind of seeing the real you, and the real you is literally everything else you see. So the people you don't like, we're all the same. And the longer that we keep holding on to the fact that the people we don't like are something else outside of us that we're not a part of, and the harder we're going to feel this death, because it's done. We're in a new game. We're just still seeing the crumbling of the old stuff, and it is painful. So divine masculine, divine feminine, inside of all of us, we're like, we've all felt the death of the unconscious masculine inside of us. I have pulled out beliefs I did not fucking know I have. I cannot stop watching 90s sci-fi shows because that is just my fucking thing. I can't help it. And I notice all of these old stories, and it's just like, dude, that's how we were in the 90s. God, I thought that was okay to say certain words or like think a certain kind of dude was really cool, you know, like the tattoo with the barbed wire and the hair with the fucking, just think boy bands of the 90s. That was okay. Oh God. Okay. Anyway, so what we do is we love and accept ourselves for going through this, because again, all part of the plan. We just wanted to see what it was like. It sucked. So now we're kind of like, let's kind of remember that we're whole again. We all have these, we're all the same. I'm not fucking saying be perfect. None of us are Jesus Christ or Buddha. We do not have to just love our neighbors without thinking about it just because we're told to. The point of it is to genuinely love the people you really don't like. It's just a process to get there. And It can be a fun process. For me, it hasn't always been. So if you're not enjoying the whole everyone I don't like outside of me is part of me process thing, that's okay. Don't fucking beat yourself up. You don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to take any of this. If this does not resonate and you want to hate people and all the things, go for it. It is literally all part of the game. You're supposed to feel all the feelings. You can feel the hate, you can feel the anger, the rage. It is all valid. So please feel them. Do not bypass them. The trauma comes from when we hold on to those feelings and just keep them in our body without processing them. How do I say that? I don't even fucking know. If you hold on to it just to hold on to it, because that's your identity is I hate people, I'm calling myself out. Don't think I'm, if your identity is I hate people, that's where the shit comes through. So part of this is healing yourself, and it literally comes from loving yourself. I know, self-love, eye roll. However, when you genuinely feel it, it's kind of a game changer. So I'm eye rolling because I clearly did not want to have to go through trying to love myself. Thought it was bullshit. Okay, so loving yourself it just starts with forgiving yourself. At least it did for me. Like I said, small things like thinking about how I was in the 90s and what I thought was okay to do and say and be. I love and forgive and accept myself for all of that. And I am not Buddha. I am not quite, there yet, but I'm a lot further along than I was, and it feels better. And you get there when you get there. You choose how you want to process this, how quickly you want to process this. If you want to process this literally could be a game plan for you in another lifetime to accept and love yourself. That's fucking fine. I'm just sharing my 42 downloads. Okay, I'm gonna maybe move on because I don't know what else I was saying. Okay, we've got depolarity, Atlantean era, energy transmissions. The shit is coming through, guys. It is like it has been for years. It is just kind of ramped up, especially these last few months. Eclipses, all the things, you guys, all the fucking things. And it's kind of cool because I'm seeing I don't really get out much. I don't really talk to that many people. All fine, but I am seeing. So I don't see real life examples of big change and all that stuff. So I'm like, well, where the fuck is it? Because I don't really read the news. I need to just I know a general sense of what's happening in the world because I don't want to be out of touch. But I also need to protect my energy. And I know that a lot of times the news is meant to keep us in polarity by by pointing out the bad stuff that you have to fear, the other, the wars, the shit that's going on that it's just keeping us in the illusion of separateness. So I like to know what's happening in general. I just don't want it's propaganda, so I'm not gonna fucking listen to it. Use your own discernment. That's fine. But the more bad shit you hear, think about how that is sort of it's kind of like hypnosis. and I'm kind of thinking about the war of my lifetime, the 9/11 terrorism was just over. Just it was like a hypnosis. You just heard that word and like everybody fell in line. And that's the kind of shit that I'm not gonna fucking take part of. Like police state, Facebook is spying on you. Like what? I don't care. Go ahead. And I also don't think it's really that big of a deal anyway, because again, all of this is us. We created this stuff as part of a game. So if you let it have control over you, that's what you're going to focus on, and that's what you're going to see more of. I just can't. I went off on a tangent. Why am I saying any of this stuff? I don't know. Healing the polarity, news stories, blah, blah, blah. Loving yourself. This is great. I'm going to look. I have a couple other cards that I don't actually know the meanings of right now because I'm totally off track with stuff. Anyway, the point of this is I pulled a bunch of cards for the week. We've already talked about energy transmission, the Atlantean era, deep polarity, and then the other ones I got were different. Survival fears, which is interesting. That's what I'm talking about. Survival fears. I think now that I just said that, I'm thinking, or maybe getting a message. It's hard to tell these days because I don't know who the fuck is talking to me. Might just be myself. Okay. This week, and maybe it's just because I'm feeling it too. I don't know, just like the change. Where's the change? Like what's going on? Can we even survive as a species? That's kind of what this is. These guys, they had so much technology and it became toxic, and they just kind of, that's a long story. We're not going to fucking go into that species right now, but they have an interesting story and it's fun. So we'll talk about it later. But anyway, we've been in this tipping point of like, are we going to survive as a species, or are we going to fucking listen to these energy transmissions and get into this new age and fucking have a new civilization? I think some of the collective is like, I don't think we're going to make it. And that's fine. Like you believe that all you want, that is totally fine. That might even be a fucking possibility. I don't think it is. I think we're just locked in and it's fine. But maybe you're coming across people who don't think we're going to survive, or maybe you're hearing news that is making you think we're not going to survive, or like whatever. So don't worry about that unless you feel like it. Not telling you what to do or feel. But the old ways are done. And anyone trying to hold on to them, just going to feel the death harder, man. It's going to suck. And maybe you go into an alternate reality where the police state and the wars and all the polarity still exists. I don't know. But in my reality, I'm focusing on the fact that it's pretty cool that we've got a new society. It's just a little bit of a bumpy road. That's where I was going with that. New stories. You're just going to have to put up with this trip. Wow. So many thoughts. One, I wanted to make sure to get out. ADD is a galactic superpower, and you should celebrate the fact that you have it because it keeps you from being too plugged into the matrix. Just food for thought. And yeah, you can say I'm justifying finding good things about having ADD because I have it, and it has been a bane of my existence, and I've tried to pretend I don't have it. I fucking have it. And it can sound like a justification for me being like, okay, I have this, and it's a good thing. But I genuinely think it's a good thing because I haven't for all of my life until very recently. And then I'm like, oh, it just keeps me unplugged from the matrix as much as possible. And I fucking think it's awesome. So ADD. Oh yeah. Then what brought that on was the new stories. I've been having this and I know I'm not the only one, but new stories. It's a thing. It is, I don't know exactly what yet, but it's a fucking thing. Part of it is because we're going into a new age and we're literally writing new stories. Like, you know how every TV show, every book, every movie, it just sounds like the same old story over and over again, which is fine. It's fun. Those stories are fun. I watch 90s sci-fi. I apparently am attached to old stories. That's fine. But we're literally writing new ones. No idea what's happening, but it's pretty cool. Someone told me about a job posting they saw for a corporate astrologer with unlimited menstrual leave. What? That's cool. That's a new story. Anyway, okay, you know what I mean. Small example of stuff that is just new. It's going to be fucking fun. The other part of this new stories thing that I've been thinking about is how we have the opportunity now that we're waking up and healing ourselves, self-love. We literally have the ability to go back and rewrite our old stories into new ones. Man, it's really cool. Even though it kind of makes me want to cry a little bit too. If you think back, part of the healing of yourself is going inside and really revisiting old traumas and wounds and things that you don't even, it is a process. Unpeel that onion and find those layers. And as soon as you think you found the center of the onion, there might be more, and that's okay. That's what I've been finding. As soon as I think I've got one story origin down, I'm like, oh wait, but then like this happened and that. Anyway, so my point is, you just unpeel the layers of all your traumas. This is part of shadow play. We don't call it shadow work. It's shadow play because it's fun. It's not always fun, but that's okay. It's fun when you're done. Anyway, it can be fun, and it's nice to try and think of it that way. So anyway, shadow play. Part of shadow play is going in and seeing the origin of the traumas. You can call it timeline hopping if you want. That's kind of fun because you're literally going back to your, I don't know, 7-year-old self and like, okay, what happened here? And you're like revisiting it in your head. But that's kind of timeline hopping. That's all it is. You're literally visiting it. Just, we don't think that we can do time travel because that doesn't exist. That's what that is. Okay. We're just in bodies. So we can't, our bodies don't go there, at least not yet, but our consciousness does. And that's what we are, consciousness in a fucking meat suit. So if your consciousness goes back in time to talk to your 7-year-old self, that's time traveling. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. So you go back in time and talk to your 7-year-old self. And you get to hold that 7-year-old self. I'm picking this random age. I don't fucking know. And you get to hold this 7-year-old you, and you can say, wow, this is a shitty experience. I am you at this current age, and I'm here, and I'm going to protect you, and you're okay. We're okay. You know, look at the whole thing that happened, whatever traumatic thing, and there are probably multiple traumatic things. You go into that person you were at that age experiencing these traumas, and you get to say, as your older, more experienced self who has survived, you survived. You get to tell that previous version of you that you survived and that you're strong. because of what you went through. And you get to help other people. Going through similar stuff because you know you faced all of the shit and you get to love yourself for going through it and picking that trauma on a soul level so that you get to heal all of the timelines. And that's a new story. So, I'm crying. How about you? Anyway, the new story of, at the time, you're a victim going through this trauma. And it fucking sucks. And even though it's part of the game, it's not a part of the game that you really find super enjoyable as a human. But you get to rewrite that story. Now, you go in and you are literally rewriting history, and not in a bypassing way. Not in a, this didn't happen, I'm going to cover it up and I'm fine. Not in that way. You've looked at that in the face and you've come at it with compassion and love, and you rewrite it to a new story where you're the hero and you are this beautiful, limitless, magnificent being with all those layers and all those experiences, and you have healed it. Even if you're in the process of healing it, if you don't feel healed, that's okay. None of us are like completely healed. It's fine. It takes a while. And this is why you don't beat yourself up or bypass any of your feelings, because you're supposed to feel them all to make the new story. So that's part of the new story thing, I guess. Kind of went off on a tangent there too, but that has been on my mind, and new stories are a thing. And I'm excited to see where they go. And if you need help writing your new story, finding the good in the bad, etc., kind of not sure I explained all that very well. Because again, this was like a thing I knew in my bones. So hopefully it came across in words. Man, I wish we had telepathy right now, because then I could just do an energy transmission so that I don't have to use words. Anyway, new stories, guys, new stories. How can you write a new story? Do you want to write a new story? You don't fucking have to. I'm just saying it is possible, and that is really cool. It's really cool. I'm going to move on to the dragon cards because don't really want to, no idea what else I was going to talk about. So fun, happy dragons. Cool. To take my mind off of the fact that I just had a meltdown, and I'm not fucking deleting it because I don't care. We've got the Omega Dragon, and we've got Archangel Gabriel's dragons. They're both white. They're both beautiful. Okay, that sounded weird. I did. White is not better. I just meant this pure white light is just a beautiful thing in general. And so, oh guys, what you got a treat. You got a treat today. Me, really was not fit for public consumption, but I came on here anyway. And we're going to look Go look in the book because I cannot get any clear energy transmissions from my guides right now. So we're just going to look it up. We're going to start with the Omega Dragon, which I feel like I have talked about before. I know I have. Oh, wait, you know what? Archangel Gabriel's dragon came up first. So we're going to read that one. We're going to read that one first. Whew. Joy and hope, okay? Also, Archangel Gabriel is like, I think, it has to do a lot with creativity. So right now, as we're birthing a new civilization, we kind of need some creativity on what we're going to do. So let's call on those guys to help us bring our ideas for this new civilization into reality as we know it. All right. Oh, wow. This one is also talking about the importance of forgiveness and love and respect for ourselves. Thank you, Archangel Gabriel's dragons, for tying into my random side note from earlier. Self-love. Yeah. These, just if you're kind of feeling like I was a little earlier today and also all throughout this weekend, oh my God, it was a rough ride for me the past few days. If you are in need of some clarity and hope and happiness, just ask the dragons to come down and help you. Send out an SOS. Literally, I never know what these beings really do. It's not like I'm looking at the guidebook every time I'm like, I need some happiness. Which dragon do I call on? One, they're kind of all good for all the things. They're just these beautiful otherworldly creatures, all of them, no matter what their like specialty is. The right ones are going to find you. Just say, I need help. Kind of like I was all throughout the day today and all throughout the past few days. Just, guys, and I don't know who I'm even talking to right now because it's a general SOS. I'm like, guys, I need help. I literally cannot do this. Maybe you'll get some Archangel Gabriel's dragons. If you would like to have a face with the name or whatever, these guys popped out for us this week. This is not time sensitive, so whenever the fuck you're watching this video, that's when this applies to you. So take it when you need it. Time does not exist. Okay. Yeah. They're just here to help bring clarity, joy, happiness when you're feeling like bleh. Just send out an SOS. We love the dragons. All right, the Omega Dragon. I hope I gave you guys enough credit there. I didn't mean to make it flippant. But they help. Okay, that wasn't flippant. It was just shortened. Don't read the whole thing. Omega. Oh, ninth dimensional. All right. Whew. All right. Omega Dragon. Again, the age we're going into is, it's a balanced age, masculine and feminine energies. I'm so excited for the new story we create where we don't use masculine and feminine words. It's old as fuck. But anyway, those are the words we have now, so fuck it. Our age is, it's not all feminine. Again, like I said, it's balanced, but we're learning to tap into the feminine energy of receiving, destroying, because we're destroying this old civilization, but mostly receiving and creation. Like we all, masculine and feminine, create, not equally, but like just in different ways. They work together to create. And the divine feminine, that's what we're birthing right now. Some divine feminine creation, getting us all back into shape. So these are both actually good for creative visions. Both of these guys. And they're all helping us birth a higher consciousness. So if you need some help, again, with creativity, or figuring out what you want your vision of the world or your own personal life to look like, just call on them and ask. Just see. Would you rather live in the old Atlantean era where we only think with our logic and reason, be a Vulcan, or a whole person with actual emotions? Emotions are not bad. Vulcans are not bad either. I'm basically a Vulcan anyway, so just calm down. I don't know where I was going with that. Literally, the thoughts have left my brain. Oh yeah. Would you rather live in a world where dragons don't exist? Like we've been taught to believe for like our whole fucking lives? Or would you rather just be like, you know what? It is cool. I live in a reality where I can ask dragons for help when I'm feeling like shit, and they actually help me. I'm saying it's kind of cool to live with dragons. And it might not become obvious how they're helping you in the moment. Again, we have put ourselves in a game where time happens linearly and not always very quickly. So energetically, the shit happens all at once. But it registers in our lives and in our conscious conception of what's happening in life in like later time, which is why when you want to look at your progress, you look back over like months and years and whatever. You're like, oh, wow, nothing happened like overnight, but it kind of seems like it did when you're like, well, that was just last year. Dang. You know what I'm saying? Just, we live in a hologram. You can look at things in different ways and it's all true. So, anyway, these dragons are here to help us birth a new consciousness. And that's just really cool, if nothing else. So, but yeah, if you need help figuring out what you want to create, ask for help. Got nothing else, man. I think they said it all. I am probably going to go. I had some more cards pulled out, but they kind of feel like they don't really fit into this discussion right now, which is fine. We love you, cards. Thank you for your messages. I will... Oh, actually, these are the other two. Sorry, there's a couple others, but anyway, the dreaming of the new consciousness, birthing it into reality, and also the perfection of your life. It's kind of all tied into what I was talking about earlier. We're all co-creating this, but you also have a big part to play in creating your own reality within the confines of this game. Confines, that's kind of a harsh word, but guidelines, parameters, whatever. Your life and you are literally perfect as you are. Even if you think you are the furthest thing from perfect, I understand. I have, even throughout this whole journey and waking up and learning all the things that I'm, remembering, I guess is a better way of putting it. We've always known this stuff. We just put ourselves into a forgetting game. So we're remembering now that we are limitless and amazing, and there's no such thing as death, and that we are not separate. You are perfect, and your life is perfect. It is literally going according to plan. Your soul, we are our souls. We just kind of, there's like a meat suit sort of disconnect, and we can't, we forget that we also exist on all these higher dimensions. It's just our meat suit that doesn't. So we're just waking up and remembering that we are a limitless being, and we are perfect, and we took on all of the things that we wanted to take on in this lifetime to help heal a whole fucking planet, you guys. A whole fucking planet, a whole cookie of human consciousness. That's what we wanted to do. And maybe that was part of the beauty that I could see in all of the shit, all of the bad things, when I was like processing that truly horrific things could be beautiful, which sounds really weird to say, and it almost didn't want to say it for a minute, kind of maybe regretting I said it. No regrets. Love, I said what I said. So anyway, this game is hard sometimes, especially when you are in this fucking meat suit. But you're not alone, even if when you feel the most alone. And believe me, I am reminding myself of this as much as just hopefully connecting with someone else who needs to hear this. But you are not alone. It's just what comes out, what is the beauty that comes out of truly believing that we are separate. We have created so many awesome things. Think about all the art and the music and the, I don't know, acts of kindness and just any little thing you can think of. That would not have happened if we didn't really think that we were separate from each other. That kind of thing, I think, is what I was seeing the beauty in the shit, maybe. I don't know. Again, you're getting the rough draft. I am not good at talking on the spot. I am much better at writing things down and editing as I go, which I do not do well when I'm just spouting off shit. I'm going to stop. So, half-assed energy reading for the week, even though, honestly, this does not feel time-sensitive at all to me. So whenever you're watching this, even if it's not the last week of June for you, it's still applicable. So, if you have any questions or want to book a reading, you can contact me at kk@comelaughwith.me. I'm also on Instagram at DreadPirateKK, because life is a game and I love Princess Bride, and why not make myself Dread Pirate KK? I'm going to stop talking now. Love you guys. I am dying laughing. What a fucking thing that we agreed to this life. Okay. Lots of love, you beautiful fuckers. I will maybe see you next week. Awkward goodbye. Okay.